What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. These hype stocks are back again. AMC, CLOV, and GameStop are exploding. So in today's video, we're definitely going to cover them. We're going to cover some other important market news, and of course, the best plays to watch for the rest of this week. So if you guys are new here, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. But Tom, fill us in. What is going on with these hype stocks?
I was trying to find some type of catalyst or something to see why these hype stocks are really flying up, but it doesn't seem like that there's too much news coming out other than just the plain hype coming into them and just the momentum they've had off of these bottom supports. Like AMC has a really solid bottom support around $30. And man, we hit off of it twice and we've been lingering around it for the past few weeks. And we finally got that big break up through $40 today. It was an awesome breakout. And you can see once we broke 40, we pretty much went straight up to like $48. So awesome move there. GameStop had a big move in their own right as well, up 27.5%, having a huge rise up. Like I said, no big catalyst other than just hitting that support around 150. And they had a pretty big like triple bottom at 150 as well. So I don't know if there's like big whales or big institutions coming in at these supports, or if it's just people, obviously being optimistic and buying in at GameStop around that support, and with AMC hitting support as well. Obviously, they're pretty far off of their highs. And, if they do end up flying up towards those highs again, GameStop and AMC both could end up making some pretty good profit for anybody who's holding the stock, or anybody who has call options if it does it fast enough for them. But I'm glad, I know a lot of people who were getting in around that $30 support, and I'm really glad it ended up working out for them. And, I'm really happy that a lot of people are making pretty calculated moves down there around $30. And hey, I'm glad you made it. And I'm really glad it's working out for everyone.
Love to hear that. So Tom, give us some levels. What do you watch now for? I know AMC was really booming. And then Tom, before you get into that, guys, let us know if you think this AMC run up is here to stay, or if you think this is a giant fake out. Definitely let us know in the comments down below. I know everyone has some different opinions on the situation, but Tom, what levels should we watch?
Yeah, at the end of July, there was a pretty big high here around 46.50, and we actually passed above that today, but I would definitely watch for us to possibly hit somewhere around 46.50 to 48 tomorrow, which was kind of like the high of day today. It was very volatile today. And just going back in time, looking at the 4-hour, there's also a big resistance up here at $50. And like I said, we hit $48 today, which was pretty close. So, we're getting really close to these upper resistance levels now. Today was just absolutely insane with AMC and GameStop. Like I said, up 20%, really big moves. It's kind of hard to give some solid levels, but 50 is definitely going to be a good level for AMC. As far as GameStop goes, I would go ahead and look out for, it looks like 232, 233, somewhere right around there. And it looks like we got pretty close to that one today as well. So both of them are kind of close to that resistance. But with this type of momentum, if this hype starts to get back in, and I know it's already trending on Wall Street Bets, Mike, I know you mentioned to me it's even trending on Twitter right now. But if enough hype gets in, I could see it breaking these resistances tomorrow and possibly having another great day. Like when these stocks run 20%, sometimes they definitely continue for multiple days.
You know it. So, like you said, AMC Squeeze is trending on Twitter right now, which is interesting to see. And Tom, honestly, I think a lot of people are overlooking CLOV, which is Clover. They're at a pretty low level, especially compared to AMC and GameStop. So I want everyone to definitely pay attention to this one. It has that running / explosive potential, and it's closer to its lows than a lot of these other hype stocks.
Yeah, and I think that, to be honest, they seem like they could end up just going up on their own right. Like they're sitting right around that $8 support still. They broke it for a few days, but with these hype stocks going up, they ended up rocketing right back up through there. And it's honestly not looking bad. Like you said, there's a long way up. And if we even get back to levels that we were seeing just a couple months ago from where we are now, you're talking about a 45% rise in the stock. And that's not even getting up to the highs around $15. That's only at $13. So this stock it definitely has a lot of momentum, and it has a high risk reward ratio right now, which is always a good sign.
Here we go. So Tom, fill us in. What's going on with Bitcoin right now?
Man, there's actually a lot of stuff going on. Apparently, CNBC is reporting that Bitcoin whales are jumping back into the market as the cryptocurrency rebounds up to $50,000. And there's a bunch of information out saying that accounts holding roughly $50 million or more worth of Bitcoin have steadily increased their buying since the end of June, according to new data from blockchain firm Chain Analysis. And I actually have some charts here, I should say, of kind of like CNBC portraying this whale buying here on these charts. And you can see how back at the beginning of 2021, in early January and February and March, you can see how these whales were really buying in, and you can see how much Bitcoins were kind of being held by the large investors. And then as Bitcoin sold off, you can obviously see that those large investors were selling off as well. And then they're starting to get back in. And right now we're getting back to those levels that we were seeing back in early January, February, and March. And that's really good news for Bitcoin. If the whales and the big buyers are coming back in, that shows that there's a lot of strength. And it's also been hitting off that 30,000 support. There's just a lot of good stuff going on for crypto and for Bitcoin right now, and especially with these big players coming in.
Good stuff. And then, Tom, I know we're seeing a lot of movement like all over the place from a bunch of different sectors and stocks, but earnings are always a big deal. So, like, what are some of the biggest earnings plays for this week?
Yeah, tomorrow we still have some pretty big ones. We have DKS, Dick's Sporting Goods in the morning. That one's going to be pretty interesting. They always have a pretty solid stock. But in the afternoon tomorrow, it's going to be the biggest day, in my opinion, of this week. We have Salesforce, Snowflake, SPLK, which is Splunk. And that's about it as far as like popular stocks go. Alta's not too well known, but Salesforce is really big. CRM, definitely look out for them. Snowflake is big. SPLK is also pretty big. And then later in the week, we have Peloton and Xpeng, which is going to be pretty big on Thursday. And Friday, we have Big Lots and Hibbett Sports. So you can see the earnings season's definitely slowing down. But on Thursday, we also have HP and Dell, but it's not as good as it was last week, how we don't have all those big retail companies. And obviously the big tech stocks are already reported, but these are still some pretty big stocks in their own right, like Salesforce.
Yeah, and then I'm really going to be watching SPLK. Over like the past couple months, they've definitely been struggling, but they've had a pretty nice recovery from their lows right around 120, which is awesome to see. But Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays. And with the first one, we have Airbnb to the upside, and this thing is exploding.
Yeah, it finally broke out of that level that we've been talking about. I know that you mentioned it in the video just a day or two ago, but go ahead and make them break above 162 for tomorrow. But just look at Airbnb on the daily chart, guys. This thing is straight up exploding.
All right, and then with the next one, we have my stock, DraftKings.
Yeah, DKNG, another great day out of them. Make them break out above $57.
All right, and with the last one, we have Chewy.
CHWY, really like this company for the long term, but go ahead and make them break out above 92.50 for tomorrow.
Good stuff. So let's highlight our member of the day, and that is Infoman. So huge shout out Infoman, and he actually played CHWY today, and he said thanks bot for making my mortgage payment this morning, and he played the CHWY bot play. So awesome job Infoman, and then awesome job to the bot. It called out CHWY calls at like $193 this morning, and they ran all the way up to $295. So if you guys want to trade with the bot, Tom and myself every single day, you can click that first link in the description down below. You can cancel at any time. The bot's been doing pretty well. You could trade with Tom and myself, daily options, swing trades, day trades, order flow bots, a bunch of different custom bots, and you'll have a great community. So definitely check it out. It's that first link in the description down below. But Tom, it is now time for the unusual options activity for this Friday. We are looking at the PANW 450 strike calls for this Friday, and there was around $3.3 million put into these calls. I think this is a very interesting setup. The stock is up like 19% today, but historically speaking, when it has these explosive moves to the upside, normally it continues up. So I think the most logical play here is like a covered call of some sort. It is at all-time highs, and I just think it's a pretty good win-win situation if the smart money ended up selling a lot of these calls.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big gap up that they had here the past day. So those premiums are definitely going to be pretty good for selling calls too. So I think I'd say I'm with you. They're definitely shorting them, and they do expire this week too. They could be longing them, but in my opinion, with that much money expiring this week, I would say they're shorting them too, especially with that big rise off of earnings. Like I know the IV went down a little bit, but man, those calls went up in value.
Oh, yeah, big time. All right, well, let's get right into these comments from the previous episode. With the first comment, we have Tap asking about SESN. So I know this stock has been falling a lot over the past couple weeks, and they had some bad news with the FDA. Honestly, like it's just looking pretty rough right now. Like especially looking at a max weekly chart, like it's just been continuously making lower highs and lower lows, which is not good to see. Just to be completely honest with you, Tap, it's very risky. It doesn't look the best on a technical standpoint. It's also a penny stock, and really, it's not the best play in the world.
Yeah, it's not, and it doesn't mean that the stock is going to go to zero or anything like that. But I would definitely, maybe just look at some other stocks that are just a little easier to play. Maybe like DraftKings, Palantir, stuff like that. Just stocks with a little bit better setups than that. It's not, like I said, that stock's really low in price. They've definitely been getting beaten down, and it's just not my favorite play either.
And there are some good setups out there, like RCL looks pretty good, PENN looks pretty good, and even Corsair, CRSR, they all look pretty good. So those are some good ones that are relatively low. It's not like you're buying, Microsoft at its all-time high. Like CRSR is a good percentage off its all-time high, and same thing with Penn and RCL and all that. So definitely take a look at those ones. And then we have Raphael bringing up SPRT. So I know this one had a pretty good day. It finished up around 4.5%, but Tom, this thing was like, it just exploding in the afternoon.
Yeah, if you count the upwards movement in the afternoon, it was up around like 30-40% from yesterday's closing price. Like it had a great move up today in the middle of the day. And a lot of people were looking at this one for a possible short squeeze and stuff. Support.com. I know it's really been talked about a lot. And we had the meme stocks move up today, like AMC, GME, Clove, and a few others. And I'm really glad to see that SPRT also flew up this morning. But the way it's coming down now is honestly looking a little bit scary. And the good news is though, is that this one has been popping up for the past few weeks. So that's good news and bad news, because a lot of people have been making money for the past few weeks as it's been breaking all-time highs. But bad news because it's probably going to start coming down in the short term.
All right, and then we have Attention. He just left a comment on yesterday's video just saying, buy Clove, C-L-O-V. So, I mean, it would have turned out really good. It's up like 10% today. And, like, of course it's risky, but, like, I do like the setup. Of course it's risky, but it does have a lot of potential.
Yeah, and definitely leave us a comment on this video if you did buy Clove, and if you did end up making a lot of money today on this going up 10%. I mean, if you had calls, it obviously would have done pretty well. Even if you would have been buying shares around $8, it still would have been a pretty decent run up today. So definitely let us know if you ended up grabbing shares or anything like that. And just anybody, definitely let us know.
All right, and then we have Miller saying, can you guys take a look at DE and CAT? So Deere and Co., just like a nice slow and steady company. It's not like they're exploding up like Clover or anything like that. I like them for the long term, but honestly, with both of these stocks, Deere and CAT, I don't see like too many like short-term potential trades with them. They're just like more like long-term, slow and steady movers.
Yeah, for sure. And, there is a lot of like talk about Caterpillar and John Deere possibly like falling in the short term and stuff. So keep that in mind. But the good news is that infrastructure bill, that they set a deadline on that for October 1st. And whenever we're looking at that, that could make Caterpillar and possibly John Deere go up in the short term once that gets passed. So maybe look for a catalyst around that time.
All right, and then we have Jeff saying, what do you think about Tesla? So I really like Tesla for the long term. They're not at a price point right now where like I would want to be buying in shares, but of course they're a solid company. I think that the fact that we have stocks like AMC, Clove, and not even just those types of hype stocks, but even stocks like DraftKings and Penn, PENN, Corsair, and even like these airlines and stuff, like we're seeing a lot of stocks pop up, and I think that's a great sign for Tesla, and hopefully that'll bring in some like positive like sentiment for Tesla.
Yeah, hopefully it can, because Tesla's been having a lot of problems lately. And, they fell back below that 700 support a few weeks ago. Then now they're back up above it. So I'm hoping that we can hold it. We're honestly pretty close to it today, just kind of hovering right above there. So really watch out. But it looks like at the end of the day today, Tesla had a nice little, recovery back up. And it looks like a pretty solid setup heading into tomorrow and possibly for the next few days, I think. And Tesla and NIO both, I think, are going to be pretty solid for the next few weeks or so.
All right, and then Tom, we got to show off the bot play one more time. Guys, if you want to trade with the bot, Tom and myself every single day, definitely check out that first link in the description down below. The bot had an awesome play with Chewy today, $193 all the way up to $295, and you could talk with Tom and myself all day long. So definitely check it out. You can cancel at any time. And then Tom, do you have any last minute stocks, options, or anything you're watching heading into tomorrow?
I really had to bring this up again, but crude oil is still a pretty big thing going on right now. They were up another 3% today on crude oil alone. It seems like prices of oil are starting to really fly with this Afghanistan news going on. We didn't really talk about Afghanistan too much in the news today. Thank God nothing crazy came out, so we didn't have to, but just keep it in the back of your minds. There's always still that type of like threat of something like that affecting the market right now. So always just keep that in your head. But other than that, there's not too much other stocks I'm watching. I really enjoyed the main movers today, like DraftKings, Penn, and just those types of stocks. They all did very well. And I'll just be looking for obviously a continuation up out of some of these stocks tomorrow, kind of like DraftKings. And one that I will point out, though, is Boeing. I think Boeing looks pretty solid right now, especially on the max daily chart. They're really sitting right along this bottom blue trend line, bounced off of it for the fourth time now, just a couple days ago. And we're sitting right around that 220 support. And I think that looks like a pretty solid setup for the next couple months.
Good stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to subscribe. We post brand new videos every single day. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments down below. And last but not least, if you want to join Tom and I live every single morning at Market Open, you can subscribe to the Stocked Up Live YouTube channel. The link for that will be in the description down below. But besides that, thanks for watching.